So the offensive line, I mean, left tackle, it's been a turnstile, whether it's Campbell or Zion Nelson. I mean, basically been playing three tackles. Left tackle has either been Campbell or Zion Nelson. At right tackle has either been Jared Williams or Zion Nelson. Either way, it's been a consistent downslide. On the interior, some of our better offensive linemen has been Corey Gaynor and Ja'Kai Clark, number 53 and number 65. But number 51, DJ Scaife, who was team MVP last year, has had a horrific last couple of weeks. I mean, just on his back, getting just put on his back, driven down, blown up. And I feel bad for him only because he's like 3'10", trying to play guard at the highest level, because he was an offensive tackle that we had to move inside because we had no one else to help us at guard. So I think once he's able to put on more weight the right way, we'll get a lot better. But, man, left tackle to right tackle, Mark, it's – if you want to talk about winning the line of scrimmage, we are not. If you watch that Virginia game in its totality, there are plenty of plays where the Miami offensive line was beat at the point of attack every snap, especially in run games. I mean, once the team keyed on to our clap and the ball goes, I mean, once they get our snap count, it's over. They start jumping and then they just start cutting into these gaps, and there's nothing. It's just nothing that we can do about it, man. And help is on the way. I think we got some really good offensive linemen in this recruiting class, and we have some that are still on the bench who are young. But that does not excuse the fact that the older players are just not playing up to par. And, unfortunately, Mark, the biggest thing is just realizing that some guys are just not there. They're just not that. It's really bad. We talk about Cam Harris, or we get on De'Aaron King. Now, his misreads are a big problem in the program also. But we get on our backs and our running back for sacks and not being able to cut up and run for 100 yards. Well, if the young men on the line are getting embarrassed, how do we expect anybody else to make any plays? By Virginia, Mark. And no offense to them, but Virginia players, are they going to be on Sundays? Probably not. Probably some really good coaches. Probably some really good, I'm not going to say used car salesmen, but, some doctors, maybe some lawyers, some strength and conditioning coaches. But you're not going up against any first round, second round draft picks. And to have them just blow us back on a consistent basis, it's not good. It's not good.
I only saw a few plays here and there of Virginia's previous two games, but considering the competition, they lost to Wake Forest and NC State by 17. Each of those games. Wake Forest and NC State by 17.
And those are top of the middle tier ACC teams? And we're considered the third best ACC team? So is it that much of a drop-off between Clemson, Notre Dame to Miami? Seems like it. It seems like it. And like I say, man, oh, man, I probably shouldn't do this, Mark. There's a play, right, of DJ Scaife pulling, right?
Yeah.
Mark, there's a defensive end on the inside of him and a linebacker on the outside of that defensive end. He runs right by them and he's just talking. And I caught it on film, and I'm like, what are you doing? He just run right past both of them and just sprints out of the screen. And, man, I could not stop laughing on the film. I just couldn't. I tried to edit it out, but I just couldn't stop laughing. It was bad.
Where was the back?
Huh?
Where was the back?
Getting tackled. So it happened to be it was a counter play that way. And so, he steps out and he gets it, and then he's coming in this way, and both the DN and linebacker just smash him in the backfield because his puller just ran right by him. It was bad. It was bad. It was just like I said, Mark. I don't think that that game is going to affect the rest of the season. That's something else. Is we see that it's almost like every game is its own season. I mean, week to week, you're seeing people. I mean, look at Notre Dame. They almost lost to Louisville, and then shellacked Pitt the very next week. It's like you got to be able to put whatever happened behind you, good or bad, and go after the very next game. That's it. Just deal with whatever is this week. The biggest opponent for Miami this week is itself. Do a lot of self-evaluation. That NC State game next week, not a pushover by any means. Am I here to say we're going to shellac NC State and we're on to Clemson, ACC championship game? If that happens, I'll be very happy. If not, I'll be very disappointed, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised. Disappointed and surprised can be two different things. But what I am going to say is we got to look within ourselves and do some self-evaluations. Offensively, there's no way in the world we get to the point where we're 7 weeks in with a dynamic player like De'Aaron King, and he can't perform the read option. There's two rules to it. If the DN stays there and reads you, you hand it to the back. If he slams down on the back, you keep it and run. Does it sound a lot easier? Yeah, I mean, the bullet's flying and going 100 miles an hour. Maybe it's not the easiest thing for me to sit back and read. But as much as we've done this week in and week out, including whatever you do in practice, some of those misreads, Mark, are like horrible. I mean, touchdown missing misreads. There's one where Jalen Knighton could have walked in the end zone untouched, Mark. Untouched against Pitt. Nope. Thank God we scored on the next play on a dump-off pass to Will Mallory. But it's some of this stuff has to become inexcusable. Now, I'm not saying you're going to pull in and just, we're going to yank you out if you can't read it. The coach, go in the game. You mess up, I'm going to yank you out too. You don't necessarily have to say that in game. But there needs to be some tough conversations, which may or may not even be happening right now. As we speak, as we're all live, De'Aaron King could be getting chewed out. The O-line could be getting torn a new one. Defense could be told, y'all suck. Whatever is being said in those meeting rooms. But on Saturday afternoons or nights, we need to be able to see a different team. Because what we've seen can easily go 5-5, as they can go 10-1. That ain't even real math. What is that, 5-6? They can lose the rest of these games as easily as they can win the rest of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't expect it to happen. I think they're the better team in every game. The North Carolina game, I think, is a bit of a toss-up, but we'll see how the two teams are playing going into it.
Mark, if we don't show up, we will get blown out. Like, I mean, UNC's no world beaters, but if that team shows up that just went out there and was going through the motions and put up 19, that UNC team is,
yeah,
they're nice. But like you said before, as I was hopping on, a couple teams I'm worried about. NC State, 4 teams worry me, Mark, 4. NC State, Wake Forest, GT, and UNC.
Not Virginia Tech.
The reason why Virginia Tech, some of those games I think we're just going to be motivated for. Like Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, because of what happened last year, I think the team's going to be ready to go. Some of those games where the players are self-motivated, the coaches don't have to say anything, it only adds to how motivated they are. Because Virginia Tech is a little different from Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech was one of the worst games, period, offensively or defensively for Miami. In that shootout last year. You know, Mike Pinckney giving up 3 touchdowns by himself. And just mind-boggling to think
You're talking about with the H-back coming out, catching those passes. Yep.
And linebacker is still a problem, Mark. Still a problem. So what does that say? It's going to take time to recruit. It's going to take time to develop to get that problem fixed. Now, could we have had Justin Flo and probably could have fixed it instantly? Yeah, but, there's certain things that other schools can do that Miami can't do, if you catch my drift.